The American economy is largely dependent upon manufacturing and services. Servicing and manufacturing are present both within the United States and in a variety of foreign countries. In recent years, American businesses have shifted from producing primarily domestic goods to outsourcing the production of these goods. Outsourcing these services and goods has impacted the United States economy both positively and negatively. Compared to the 1960s, trends today show that manufacturing in the United States has suffered major losses. We have seen a major shift from an economy of manufacturing to an economy of services. According to USA Today, in 1960, 33% of United States workers worked in manufacturing. Today, that number has dwindled down to only 12% of workers working in manufacturing, while 80% are in services. Companies are continuing to move manufacturing plants offshore due to high costs, escalating taxes, and high wages in the United States. One of the consequences of this huge shift of jobs to foreign markets is that Americans are now buying products that are made in other countries. In 1960, 8% of American purchases were made from products made in foreign countries. Today, 60% of products purchased by Americans are made in foreign countries. In 2012, we have seen a steady decrease in our national GDP. The shift of manufacturing to offshore countries and locations outside of the U.S. has mostly had a negative impact on the United States economy. Looking at the economy in the 1930s, jobs that required a college education were not as common as they are in today's society. In other words, one did not need to go to college or even graduate from high school in order to support a family and be financially successful. Many young men under the age of 17 would never finish school because it was not necessary. Men were just as likely to make a good living working on the farm as they would be working in a factory or even becoming an engineer. Our economy was very self-sufficient compared to the highly industrialized economy today, where the United States depends on other economies for the production of goods. The result of outsourcing labor is a diminishing skilled American workforce, as well as the emergence of low-quality, cheaply made goods. For example, a machine shop in Texas prefers to buy American-made steel because it is better quality and machines better when it's used to make field equipment. Some American companies have sought to bring clothing manufacturing jobs back to the United States, but are finding that Americans are no longer skilled in the fields necessary to produce products effectively and efficiently. Once manufacturing jobs are outsourced, it is very difficult to regain the skills in the workforce to bring the jobs back to the continental United States. When companies in the United States hire workers in foreign countries, the companies make more profit due to lower taxes and less regulations that often cost them money. This benefits the companies, but in return hurts the U.S. economy because Americans are not earning the wages and therefore are not spending money and paying taxes. The unemployment rate of the United States is also affected by outsourcing. Many impoverished or minimally skilled Americans have a very difficult time finding employment. Having a high poverty rate hinders the economy by reducing tax revenues and consumer spending. Some people fear that these jobs will be lost forever because outsourcing will never disappear completely. The continued shift to offshore industry and imported products is inevitable, but will the United States continue to let it hurt our economy and essentially send us into an economic depression? The government has the option to add an import tax or tariff in addition to the already high cost of shipping due to skyrocketing gas prices. The government cannot prohibit companies outsourcing to other countries, but they can regulate importing the products back to our turf. Another question is, should the government interfere at all or let the chips fall where they may, possibly hurting the economy? Businesses do not like government interference, but in this case, is it a necessity? The government regulates business through agencies that set rules specific to the business's field of work. The agencies keep the businesses from doing things that are illegal, but the taxes are what really make businesses do what the government wants. The import taxes hopefully would begin a shift that lands companies manufacturing and service opportunities in the United States. This would increase the number of mass-producing companies paying taxes, and thus would increase the government revenue and boost our economy. The companies that have aspirations of bringing their manufacturing back to the United States have found a lack of trained workforce. For example, Nike has looked into bringing their manufacturing back home to America. There is a lack of American seamstresses to sew the clothes that Nike produces. There are definitely not enough people with the skill of sewing to produce an amount to satisfy the demands of Nike customers. Nike products will continue to be produced in other countries due to lack of skilled workers, but it is not only the clothing industry. Many companies are unable to domesticate their manufacturing. The government could play a big part in domesticating production by providing an educated workforce for mass-producing business. The recent shift in American businesses from domestically produced products to outsourced services has impacted the United States economy by providing cheaper goods to American consumers. However, this shift has also damaged the U.S. economy by lowering income tax and increasing unemployment. And primarily outsourcing goods has led to a loss in the ability and skills many Americans once possessed.
603.